So hello guys, I think you should watch this video till the end. If you're a college student or if you're a JEE person, you should watch this because we have covered so many topics from different themes. If you are getting into college or if you are trying to make content, if you are feel difficulty in making friends or even in other aspects of your life, this is a complete guide for you if you are getting into college or if you are taking a transition in your life. This is a must watch for you, and I personally recommend you to watch this video till the end because you're gonna get a lot of insights in between. So ज़्यादा नहीं बताते हैं and let's get into the podcast. So hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I am Harshdeep and today we have Prakriti, and this video is gonna all about figuring out in life and how can you find your passion by navigating your life. So the society has put us so many preconceived notion upon us, but her story is different. She's breaking all those barriers by making her own story. So let's listen her story by her own. Hi Prakriti.
Hi.
Tell us about yourself.
I'm basically from Chandigarh. I'm a final year student in IIT Bombay. I'm pursuing a dual degree in mechanical engineering, BTech plus MTech. I'm graduating pretty soon in a month. And I've done a couple things during my time in the institute. I've been a part of the NSS, and now I'll be shifting to Bangalore for work. Where I'll be working is sort of a secret right now, but I'll be working for the growth part of a company. And I also create content. I write, I perform stories, and I'm hoping that I add more onto this list for a detailed perspective of what I really do. You can check out my Instagram. But yes, let's get started.
So let's start from the beginning, Prakriti.
Okay.
So let's start from your JEE journey. How is it?
It was full of ups and downs, and a lot of people basically challenging. I don't know, maybe other people in society might not take it as a challenge, but challenges are very contextual. For me, there were challenges.
Right.
For example, being a girl student, I was not my parents were not really open to sending me to coaching every day, which is far off. Like, how will I travel alone? Because both of my parents work.
Okay.
So they were like, there's no one to drop you. And I'm like, I just go by myself, which is something they could not process.
In 11th standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
School friends were just like, who aims for IIT Bombay, man? वहाँ तो सिर्फ top 200 लोग जाते हैं. And that thing struck me. I'm like, it's okay if I don't get it. That is fine. But why are people limiting their dreams पहले से कि जाना ही impossible है?
Right.
Like, this thing is impossible. Don't even aim for it. That is something which just struck me. But these are things, I have a habit of when I hear such things in society or when my people around say this, I don't go and tell this to them upfront. I just take that in my head and work on it for like years silently and then feel like, okay, let's try. If it does not happen, I didn't have any accountability, right? But if it does happen, I have a nice story to say. See, you said it was impossible, but it happened.
So do you think work in silence will work?
It has worked for me. So even I think it's a very dumb thing to say here. It's not a very big thing, but I think for a 10th class student from that mindset, it might have been a big thing.
Right.
So my school had only 2 branches in 11th and 12th, which is commerce and non-medical.
Okay.
And I just randomly noticed a trend that every year the school topper is from commerce.
Okay.
And पूरे history में आज तक एक भी non-medical का topper नहीं. So I was like, I don't know. Now that I think of it, maybe because people are too busy with JEE, etc. That is why it happens. I just silently had this in my head. What if I become the first non-medical topper of the institute, of the school? And I never told this to anyone. Not even my parents, not even my best friend. It was just with me. And I wanted to wait till the day. So the day the CBSE results came, I got, I think, 97.4. But it did not matter that it was good. I wanted to know who scored more. And what was the highest score in commerce. And it turns out I was the highest
in the whole school
scorer. Yeah.
Oh.
And the school also never noticed that there's never a non-medical topper. It was in the final assembly, that school speech jo topper aake deta hai. I mentioned this fact that I've held this within myself for too long, and now it's time to finally reveal that this is what I had in my head, and it finally happened. And that is when the school principal was like, oh yes, this must have happened.
Noticed.
Yeah, they never noticed. And my teacher was so proud because there is a lot of internal school politics in every school. Their commerce will be like, तुम्हारे बच्चे पढ़ते नहीं हैं, JEE में बैठे रहते हैं, ऐसा. She was so proud that she was like, you have made me proud today. That science people study and they can top the school as well. So yeah, since these things started happening, So with every such thing happening, I used to get more thrilled and thrilled, you know.
Right.
कुछ तो अनकन्वेंशनल उठाता और करके दिखाता है. इसका मतलब ऐसे नहीं है कि अगर कोई कुएं में नहीं कूद रहा तो मैं जाके कुएं में कूद जाऊं.
Right.
I mean, so it should not be the primary motivation basically. But if this thing is helping you do something जो तुमको वैसे ही करना है, and this adds on as a secondary motivation, the combination is deadly, is what I have felt.
Great.
Because if you make it the primary motivation, then you will be achieving things just for others, not for you. So I find out things जो मुझे करने हैं, and if I get some jealousy, some anger, या इसको मैं दिखाऊंगी type of feeling as a secondary motivation, I let that come as a fuel. But keeping my head saying कि ये primary motivation नहीं बनना चाहिए. Like letting the other person down or society down should not be your primary goal. Your primary goal should be yours only, and that can just help you fuel.
So you're working on the ideology that let your success make the noise, right?
Yeah, and it's thrilling. So I think I've just become addicted to the thrill now.
Yeah, exactly. That's wonderful.
And now that you see, I have started telling stories, and such stories make for good narratives, and I want to tell stories. So sometimes I tell myself, you know, what would make a good story? It's a very dumb thing. I don't know if people should function this way. I'm not giving this as an advice, but if I talk about myself, that is how I function.
Right.
I look at scenarios, and when I see an opportunity for a very good narrative, I go crazy about it.
So Prakriti, can you share some of your key learnings from your Jee journey?
From Jee Journey, I think I've said this multiple times in my YouTube videos also. What I learned is, it's not just from my Jee journey, it's also after coming out of it and when I see other people doing it and you see it from a third perspective.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, a lot of times we think that Jee is the end. And ये नहीं हुआ तो कुछ नहीं होगा. Since now I've seen my friends who either by their rank or by choice took other colleges or whatever. Everybody just does it, and it's like never make anything the ultimate aim of your life. I mean, because if that does not happen, then you will, like, what will you have in life? So first of all, you should have other things, and you might have. I don't think किसी का भी aim JEE देना होता है. Usually everybody is either chasing उनको टैग चाहिए. Right. Either they are chasing money, or they are choosing against status, respect, or they want to flex, or they want a good college where there's opportunities, or they solely want to study from the best engineering institute or whatever. Basically, there are things, right?
Yeah, there is something.
Yeah, they do JEE for something, and in the journey we forget that we were doing JEE for something. And if JEE does not happen, there can be other ways of doing the same thing. Right, makes sense. And you can still feel good about it. Just because JEE did not happen does not mean you won't get somewhere in this. This path does not work, there are other paths. Yeah, right. Like you can reach your home in 10 different ways. It's not like एक ही route है घर जाने का. Exactly. And secondly, face your fears. I mean, it will be there. There will be constant fears. Oh my god, if I go to the teacher, they will scold me. Oh my god, this will seem like a very dumb. One thing which my professor once told me, because when I went, I was like, I have missed certain things in the course, so I'm pretty dumb in this. And you know, this might be a stupid question. They're like, no question is a bad question or a stupid question or a dumb question. They're only late questions. Let's say you think this is stupid because this should have been asked in the start of the course. Yeah. But you did not study. So it's a late question. Not but this question should be there so that you reach to other stage. So if I asked the same question 5 months ago, it was a good question. So ultimately it's a late question, not a bad question. If you have not studied everything, you will have those questions. Just that you're asking them late. That's very true, yaar. When I'm reflecting on this thing now, I can reconnect it. So you need to be honest with yourself कि तुमने नहीं पढ़ा है यार. So you will have those questions. And just because you can't face them, be like, oh my god, अब मैं ये पूछ रही हूँ. But you also need to, अगर ये नहीं पूछा, you will not go ahead. You remain pile up होता जाएगा. And I know it's very physically painful to like face your fears and just go, you know, show up in front of teachers. But sometimes I just used to shut my brain off, just go, take 2 deep breaths, go face the teacher, get that scolding, at least काम हो जाएगा. How was you making friends? Okay, I made a lot of friends. It's not like, but in my first year, you know, what I used to feel is my frequency just did not match with my batchmates, or I didn't spend that much time with them. So when I came here, I already knew a couple of seniors.
Okay.
And since I had been taking their advice while I was preparing for JEE and there was a connect already, I obviously wanted to spend time with them, right?
Okay.
And they were graduating soon, so I wanted to make the most out of it. So I spent most of my time there and my circle became there.
Okay.
And our talks were mature. Mature as in not like we'll be talking high level shit, but it's just more informed, and rather than talking to a fresher who's lost in life, you're talking with someone who's figured it out. So it obviously felt better and more secure, and it's like there's someone. And when I talked to batchmates, they were all about iska rank kya tha, ye kya tha, usi zone mein, J ke zone mein, or like everybody's coming from different perspective. Once you are 3 years in IIT, you still settle down a bit by seeing there are other kinds of people and you become mature.
Right.
But otherwise, everybody is just having 100 kinds of tantrums. So it was just like nahi ho raha frequency match. So I stayed, and then they graduated. So then COVID also struck.
Okay. Yeah.
So after COVID, when I came to campus, the people I knew were no longer there.
Right.
And now I have to make an entirely different set of people. But it's not like, usually I've had a fairly wide network by the time I'm graduating. I've realized this because I took up a lot of activities in the institute. I was in NSS, I was leading teams, I was in teams led by someone else. I was a teaching assistant, I was a mentor also. So I was involved in a lot of things. So at least had a wide network. I knew people. But then when it comes to close friendship, it's like some will stick and some will go. For a while, these will be your close friends, and then you need to get used to the fact that nothing is forever. Even the bestest of the friendship can just fall apart.
Right.
So the circles change. So it's not like I had a lot of difficulty, but
Never able to
their
make that
priorities
connect.
change when they grow. You fall apart, so your friend circle will shift. So I had friends at every point, like a few very good quality, but yes, they've shifted through the years. Like they might not be the same people right now. Yeah.
So it's like you're not able to maintain that connect with particular people.
Yeah, and
at
it's
some
not
point,
like about my ability. It's just I think how things work, right? People just grow apart.
Okay, so it's a very brutal thing that nobody's gonna be with you all your life. Like if you make your
And
friends.
we think like those friends are like, obviously everybody made promises, we will be there forever, like 20 years later when we will be married, our families will be there, we'll be uncles and aunts, everything was there. But it does not work like that. And when you see such people, so I started giving warnings, okay, like disclaimers when I used to make close friends. And it's like, this will fall apart, don't give me for like, nah. I was like, I've seen it, this will happen. And then it happens with the same people. So, and when I reflect upon it, no one really did anything wrong. It's just their preferences changed or our viewpoints. And as we grow up, पहले ना सब बच्चे होते हैं, they don't have opinions or preferences. As you grow, your choices, your value system also changes. What kind of people do you want to hang out with? And like if someone wants like a shant atmosphere, they will go, I'm a very bubbly kind of thing, so मैं इधर जाऊंगी. So there's so many changes happening, so that also leads to.
Makes sense.
And some friendship obviously can break because of miscommunication or whatever, but
Distance
even if everything was perfect, those friendships can still fall apart, is what I want to say.
So, like suppose if there is a fresher who is going to get into a college.
Yeah.
So what you think he should do? Like what kind of mentality he should have while making friends or choosing a peer group?
Mentality? I don't know what they should have, but I would have personally preferred, a group, first of all, which lets this maturity has come now, not through my first year. First year, so वही था जहाँ अच्छा लग रहा जा रहे हो. But now that I've grown up, I think a group which just lets you be you. अब not like कि sugarcoat करके सब कुछ बोल रहे हैं, हाँ तो बहुत बढ़िया है. Tell me where I'm wrong, like let me know. But don't try to fix me. Like if I have certain issues going on, just don't try to fix me. You know that this is the solution, you should do this. Ultimately, I think everyone should give everyone space to get. I mean, I might have solutions that, let's say you're facing a problem. And you're going through something, and I might know that I've been through something which is similar, and I'll tell you this is the thing. It's very easy for me to tell, but we feel क्योंकि हमने कर लिया तो हम किसी को solution बता देंगे, like solving a problem solution बता दे तो हो जाएगा. It does not work that way. You still need to go through each and every step to learn this and process it and grow. So I can just keep guiding you, but I can just force you कि मैंने तेरे को solution बता देता तो point A से point B पे आ जाएगा एकदम. So I think while making friends, choose people who let you be you. They help you grow. They point out things. but then they don't try to fix you like this. They give you your space.
Yeah.
And also I wanted someone, so I wanted to grow, right? So I wanted some inspirations also, like there should be something which I get inspired by, or you know, some and some sort of accountability also. It's not like I'm giving, right? There's no return. I have been a people pleaser all of my life, but now I'm changing that. I give people certain chances. I don't fight with them, like I'm still friends, but internally I've set my expectations to 0%.
Okay.
I'm not saying कट्टी हो गया दोस्ती टूट गई, but in my head I've told इस इंसान से expectation 0 कर. And if at a point think कि अगर same situation में तू उनके पास जाती, कितना जल्दी वो तेरा काम करते.
Right.
और अगर फिर भी तू काम करी है, then be ready कि तेरे को वो वापस नहीं मिलेगा. And if you want to do it without any expectation that you are a person who wants to help people, सिर्फ इसलिए करना कर, and do not expect them ever to help you back, then help.
I also feel like friendship has become a give and take relationship in current time.
There's nothing bad about it, I would say. I mean, you know, I feel the immature me used to think that it should be ideal and it should not be give and take. But you know, over time, the friends, so there were a few friends which I had in my first year, and we had a rough patch, but now we are great friends again. And now we talked about our past reflections that, you know, पहले यही होता था, because तूने ये नहीं किया, तूने ये time नहीं दिया. It's more about understanding each other, that everybody has things to do in life.
Right.
Like we are in IIT, we are not here to build friends. I mean, people say you should, but that's not your goal, right? Everybody has ultimately come here to study. They have things in life. And it's like, you know, बनी को बाहर जाना था. And बाकी लोगों को बुरा लगा that he's going out. But he had to do, right? He can't just keep staying with them. And that person, you need people who will understand that he has things to do in life and he has to go out, and you let that person go.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't hold on to people so much. Ultimately, and everything in human relationships is give and take. Like no one is a guruji here, or you know, just like.
So hello guys, I know there is a change in background, and the reason she's gonna tell.
मेरे हॉस्टल वालों ने निकाल दिया हमें.
तो देखो एक्चुअली होता क्या है, आईआईटी में एक टाइम पीरियड होता है कि इससे ज़्यादा आप गर्ल्स हॉस्टल में नहीं रह सकते हो. तो लास्ट टाइम जब अपन शूट कर रहे थे तो वी वर इन H10 गर्ल्स हॉस्टल में, और वहाँ का एक कंपल्शन है कि यू कांट बी देयर बाय 10. तो हमें शूट करते करते 10 बज गए थे, तो वार्डन ने भगा दिया.
तो अब हम यहाँ पे आ गए.
इवेंचुअली वी लैंडेड इन H9. सो अभी H9 के कॉमन रूम से शूट हो रहा है, सो बियर विद अस. बट वी हैव आवर क्वेश्चंस, विल फिनिश दैट with Prakriti. So Prakriti, ये बताओ, what experiences you got from, you know, working in industry with IBs?
IBs. It's a mixed experience, as everybody says. I think there were a lot of series also which was released around it.
NSS is not IB, right?
Oh, so that's like a great
as
question.
Far as I know.
I think let's not step into that. It is like this podcast will digress if we talk about that. But it is a body though. It's a legitimate body. It's an independent body. NSS is anything around which is social service or which can help make the society better. So it's not just that we have to service. We can also talk about social issues, create awareness. So it's just anything which serves the nation basically as a whole. It need not be that only underprivileged are getting benefit. Even you could have been benefited by one of the initiatives, or the environment could have been benefited.
Even NSS do that used clothes donation, right?
Yeah.
So I have also contributed in that.
That's
you can
great.
find the box outside.
Yeah, there's like, so currently I think NSS room would be having like a pile of clothes. So I think in H10 only it took us 2 hours, because that day also these guys came after 10 p.m. So they called me that the security is not letting us in, and I was like, okay, I'll try to sort out. So we had to make a couple calls and, you know, get permissions, and to just get those clothes outside H10, it took them 2.5 hours just to pack that up. There was just like a whole, this much area was just filled with clothes. So imagine that is from one hostel, and if you combine all of that in NSS room, usually every year ऐसा पहाड़ बन जाता है NSS room, and people just sit on the
That's crazy, yeah. Literally that's crazy. So how working in NSS contribute towards your college life and made you some learning in in general life?
So it, I think, brought a lot of changes, not just like a minute change. I used to be a very, I wouldn't say shy, like I used to talk to people, that was fine, but I had stage fear, and as in I used to just get nervous and I won't be able to speak on stage. Whereas now you see I go and perform, right? So I think NSS has played a major role in even that, because when I was just a volunteer, it was fine. I was doing my volunteering work, etc. But when I got to be a part of the team, I had to lead juniors, I had to talk, and then a lot of times we had to deliver talks in LHCs or something like that. So with every step, my confidence kept getting better, and as I said, I just want to push myself wherever I can, right? So I saw that, okay, I have stage pride. Let's make college a place where I challenge my fears. There's one fear which I still haven't overcome. I wanted to dance. So I'm a very shy person when it comes to dancing, and so I really wanted to participate in one of the dance events and commit to learning choreography and then performing on stage, because I feel very shy. Like if you tell me to learn dancing in front of 100 people, I won't. I'll be like, let's go to a corner and learn, and then when I feel like I'm confident, then I'll come.
Right.
So NSS helped me come outside a lot of fears. Stage was one of them, and I think that body is the body which made me fall in love with stage, because every time now when some event used to happen and there was some talk on the stage, even though I was not supposed to deliver a talk, by the end of the session I just used to go there and speak. So since it was not planned, I didn't have a script prepared. I just used to go to stage and speak anything I want to for the next 10 minutes. And then I noticed one thing, that usually college students, if they're in a seminar or like whatever, they'll be on their phones, all zoned out, everything. People will be talking, people will be sleeping, and no one would be paying attention. So whenever I used to see such an event, I used to be like, okay, they have slept for quite a long time, now just let's add some masala to it. And I just used to go to stage for like 10 minutes, and I could see most of the people's heads up and straight. So that's like, कुछ तो बोल रही हूँ मैं जो लोगों को अच्छा लग रहा है कि वो सुन रहे हैं, because they have no incentive to. So that brought in more confidence कि यार कुछ तो, जैसे लोग बोलते हैं ना, कुछ तो अच्छा किया होगा लाइफ में जो ये हो रहा है, तो कुछ तो अच्छा बोल ही रहे होंगे कि ये हो रहा है. So that made me believe that maybe there's something which people want to hear, and hence I should start telling stories, or I should start speaking up and encash on that quality.
Completely makes sense. So, what initiatives you bring while working in NSS? And by the way, for the reference, she served as a OC in NSS. So, what OC does? Aap batao.
Okay, so basically every body in the institute will have certain hierarchy. There will be freshers, there will be sophomores, and so like there will be a lot of freshers. Then some sophomores will be leading them. Then some third year people will be leading them. So usually in most of the bodies, third year people are a core team, and then there are like one or two people who are handling this entire pyramid, right? So that's called the overall coordinator of the body. So that is what an OC is. So I started as a volunteer, then I became the activity associate and the core team member, and then eventually the entire
OC
body is OC.
So that's why she has so much experience like working in NSS, and that's the reason brings a lot of change in her life.
Yeah, because that is also a body where I got to interact with a lot of people. I mean, the administrative, because there's a lot of administrative work involved, more than actually going and doing things. That is what juniors do. It's not like I'm making them work, but it's how the hierarchy works, right? If you talk about a company, there would be a manager, but then the work would be done by people who are working under him, and he's looking at the administrative stuff. So for that administrative stuff, there's a lot of permission. Like whatever happens in the institute requires permissions or tons of different things. For that, you have to go to dean's office. In that, this institute is literally a sarkari office. So you have to go there, sit there, keep waiting for hours that the dean will come, get his signature. Oh, ye document nahi hai, wo nahi hai, stuff like that. So I got to interact with the director, the deans, and we also collaborated with a lot of ministries outside. Our work was even featured in various newspapers or Doordarshan Madhya Pradesh, but at that time COVID was there, so we could not travel. So we sent a team member who was in Madhya Pradesh.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is, I met an array of people. Like there were celebrities from here till here. So that fear went away. It's like now you bring anyone in front of me, I won't be like, oh my God, how do I talk to people? Because I've seen my friends have this. How can you just go and talk? I'm like, it's just a person. Look at them as just a person, and you have to talk. That's it. So now I can talk basically to anyone.
That's an interesting take, yeah. That you have become you made this extroverted nature.
Yeah, because I've now thought like, kya hi naya hoga? It's like just go talk.
He's a human being,
Yeah,
right?
I've just been used to it. So
Yeah.
now I don't feel afraid of just going and initiating a talk. I might be afraid or nervous about the topic I'm going to talk, but I won't have a hard time breaking the ice and going and initiating a conversation.
That's good, yeah. So I was getting back to the question. What were your initiatives, like major initiatives, which you bring to NSS?
So there were a lot actually, but I can tell a few major ones,
Yeah.
which I was really proud of. So there was this thing, an initiative which we called Dhruva,
Okay.
in which we taught JEE aspirants from the underprivileged sections or the minorities and people who don't have that access. It started with one guy in the batch, and like it wasn't even an initiative. There was one person in one of the NGOs we used to teach,
Yeah.
who needed help for JEE. We started mentoring him. He ended up in IIT Bombay.
Oh.
So we thought, oh, just like us students can drive so much impact. None of us are, established teachers or JEE coaching people who know what to do. But something we did which helped a person land into IIT Bhopal, and imagine his entire family's life would transform now.
Yeah.
So that is when we started contacting NGOs around that. So now we run a proper initiative where even people with Bihar, no, not Bihar. Yeah, I think Bihar, somewhere in Orissa. Like we even teach remotely and mentor them, and people hear from NGOs, and we help them for JEE stuff. And in my OC tenure, I think OC or like 14 yeah, in my third year, I think by the end of my third year, 2 people actually came to IIT Bombay.
Oh, from that batch.
Yeah.
Damn.
And like a couple of them went to different IITs, and 2 of them are probably students here. Like there might be your batchmates or your juniors, probably. So that was insane. I mean, that is so much impact you can do if you really do something. Sometimes people think like, what can we really do?
Yeah, that's even insane to
and
think.
The idea was, freshers. So most of the teachers which we were giving, the volunteers, were freshers. You're not taking PGs or like people who are in their senior years, because you've just come out of JEE, fresh.
Yeah.
Once you come here, that the knowledge concept kind of gets rusty. And then it vanishes, right?
Right.
Before it vanishes, it would be so good if you could transfer it to someone who can use it.
Right.
Really use it and transform so many lives, and then you can forget about it. So it's like you learned, but before letting it vanish, you passed it on to someone who really needed it.
That's crazy.
Because in first year, you are still in that zone. So we thought that is the best set of volunteers which we can assign for this. And now the initiative is running pretty good.
Okay.
And then I think this is a fun part also. You might find it fun, but I brought a period cramp simulator in the institute for the first time.
Okay.
So usually we have a lot of awareness talks around menstrual hygiene products, etc., right? And about menstrual cups and stuff like that. But I wanted to make it interesting. I wanted to attract audience, and I wanted to make it inclusive. How do I manage to get guys in this workshop? So we introduced the period cramp simulator, and usually when even other IBs conduct events, majority is freshers or like juniors.
Yeah.
Unless it's some really informative, which will. I saw people from first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, masters, PhD, everyone, like final year students who do not come to such events were there, and I could see equal or like a good enough amount of guys in there. So it felt good, and the entire venue was full, and it's just, you're bringing something new. And what was the highlight was we distributed around 100 menstrual cups for free.
Okay.
So it was a brand deal which I was trying to crack, and it might not be a big thing for other bodies, but like in my history, like my body's history, it's not that easy, right? Because people say NSS se nahi hoga. But I wanted to bring that change. Again, it's challenging. I want to do it.
Yeah.
So 2 years it was on my manifesto, and I wanted to make this thing that I want to distribute menstrual cups in the institute for free so that people try it. And don't have that hesitation of going and buying. At least it was my thought that if it's in your hand, you probably might be more motivated, and then you can have real-time question and answers like how do you use it, or like your concerns regarding that.
So you also do education, like us time pe you educated them about menstrual cups.
Yeah, so it was an awareness session, and also like you can have the sample and you can try
So
it
you
for
may,
yourself.
like you asked doctors to come over there.
Also, it was the company's, so it was like a startup, and startup's founder was there who was delivering the talk.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy, yaar. Matlab, these are the things which are which are happening for the
And
first
then I
time.
think another thing, when I was a volunteer, I used to teach mess workers.
Okay.
Anything, they want to learn English or whatever, right? And I had some deals with like those mess workers. I'll teach you English, you teach me Marathi. Our medium of conversation would be Hindi. So it was great. But what these people used to worry the most about was, हमारी तो लाइफ अब बन गई है, हमारे बच्चों को पढ़ा दो. So at that time there was no initiative which was teaching their kids.
Right.
So while I was teaching them, and through their concerns, this idea came up that we should also create an initiative where we teach the students of institutes working staff.
Yeah.
So after that, a whole initiative came where we started databasing and how many kids need help, and now that initiative is running pretty smoothly. So there are a lot of mess workers, PHO workers, or construction workers in the institute whose kids we are teaching.
Okay, so all the three initiatives which you mentioned, they are working abhi.
Yeah, and these are just like, there will be a whole lot of initiatives which we do, and these are like 2-3, and something which started around my time.
These are the major ones.
Yeah, like these are something I'm really proud of. Again, the list is endless in terms of the number of initiatives and what we did. I could have an like entire separate podcast for it. But the point is ki with this only you get to see, how much impact does it create.
Do you feel proud of it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, and I honestly want to take it forward. I just don't want to stop here, okay? Because I became an overall coordinator. Now what's next, right? So even while I'm creating content, I want to make some content around these social initiatives, and I want to have social initiatives of my own. Not like a big thing, because this thing requires a huge team setup, right? But any small thing which I can create, and I can, put that up on social media so that others might get inspired by it, and that can create a ripple effect. So that is one of my agenda, and I want to use that because see, I have worked so much, so I have some experience. I know how to talk to these people, and I think it's not good to just let that go to waste. That's my criteria in life. Like whatever I learn, I try to mix and match things and come up with something which can be something. I don't know. Like let's say if I do engineering and if I worked in NSS and if I'm creative, then I want to mix all of this and come up with something.
So you're gonna be associated with an NSS after college also, right?
Yeah, I mean that's in general also.
Yeah, that's in general.
Alumni who stay connected with their bodies. But even if NSS is not doing or taking up my ideas, I would be very happy to do that on an individual basis also. Is what
kind of a NGO.
Through my content community. No, it's more like community building online now. I want to create it on a much larger scale now.
Okay.
Like I worked on this, and with that, from my experiences, I want to create awareness about it and talk about it, or come up with some creative ideas which I am yet to like figure out. But some creative ideas, some documentaries or something where I go and do something and I document the whole thing and put it up on internet, so that not just that, but that also creates a ripple effect, and someone else might do the same thing.
Right.
So instead of just that section getting benefit, it's the entire thing. Like, many more getting affected.
Yes. So good, yeah. So crazy. Literally, the initiatives you bring and the change they're putting. Abhi, that's crazy. So Prakriti, now I have this very personal question from you.
Okay.
That how do you network so well?
How do I network so well?
Yeah.
Again, I tell you, I get thrilled in the stupidest of things.
Okay.
So when I was in my initial years, I started noticing that people do not remember names, and I remember a lot of names. Like you give me a name, I'll tell their surname. You give me a surname, I'll tell their name, and I might not even know the person. It's because my brain has somewhere heard about that name. But let's say if I didn't know Harshdeep Kaushal, but if I would have heard this name and someone will say Harshdeep, my instant reaction would be like, Kaushal, this thing does not make sense. But I like to trick myself and keep updating my database and keep testing myself. Do I remember the names?
Are you good in inorganic chemistry?
See, I used to hate the subjects where I had to cram things. I was great in organic, but during my JEE time, I luckily got a good enough teacher who helped me deal with inorganic as a subject which is just not about rectification but also about concepts.
Okay.
So, but the point being, it became thrill, and then I started. Yeah, but then I love talking to people. I think talking to people gives me energy. So, and yeah, after school, when I started talking to people here, it used to thrill me again. I used to feel nice, and oh my god, I'm talking to different people. I'm learning new things. I'm learning new perspectives, and I'm a huge, say, I don't know. I love thinking about what people think.
So you mentioned like you remember names. That's why people get attracted towards you. Ki she remember names, so she
In that
knows.
also, but I think I'm making, usually if you go by the street, I don't know, but a lot of people would not stop and say hi.
Yeah.
If I know someone,
Hmm.
I will at least give a smile. Even though we have never talked, but I know that I will give a smile. 10 days later, or like 1 year, 2 years later, that person will have had some faint memory that we have exchanged smiles. Even though we have never crossed paths or talked.
Yeah.
And at that point, it might not seem that absurd or like, that strange to them that I'm a stranger, because we've passed miles.
That's a very gentle thing to do.
So I usually stop. My friends get irritated by this, by the way, because if I'm walking in a group and I see someone and I stop to say hi, and now that I know so many people, it happens all the time that I am walking with my friends and I will at least meet 2, 3 people on the way, and I'll stop and I'll talk to them. And they'll be like, what do we do? Like, you are spoiling our time. Like,
Right.
it was our moment.
And you're breaking it.
Yeah, so now I try to reduce it, but I at least say hi and like
Before
pass a
I will like
smile.
just smile and pass away.
Yeah. Baki, since I said I love to think how people think, so I think I just sometimes play mind games. I don't know, this sounds very crazy.
That sounds very,
But yeah, I think that what I will say, what kind of an impact will that create on the other person's head. For example, if I talk about my artist community, how did I network there? Initially, I knew I was a fan of a lot of them, but if I want to step into that field as an artist myself, I will never behave like a fan. Because the moment I do that, that's the first impression I created, and that is what they'll remember. And it will take them time to change that. Rather than if I had to set a fresh perspective as an artist, and in the very first meetup, I control my nerves and I say, hi, nice to meet you. Your work is really nice. I also create content, or I also write. So you establish a different setting in their head. So I think about what people think and what kind of an impression it will create, and I talk in that way. So I don't know.
Okay, tell me how you break the ice. Like there is a hesitation now when you meet somebody for the first time. There is some hesitation that what should I approach him?
Yeah.
कैसे मैं start करूँ? How you break that ice?
I usually, let's say you are my interviewer, okay, and I have to break the ice. I'm like, hi, how are you? And they will say something. I try to respond to it, not just like listen to it and start with my own thing. Basically, I try to pay attention to what they are saying and then ask counter questions. I don't know. I don't have a formula or a blueprint how I do it, but I'm just trying to break it down since you've asked me this. But yeah, if I ask, hi, how are you? You'll tell your name. I'll try to find something which I am enthusiastic about and we have in common, and then talk about it. Basically, if you say, let's say, for example, let's say Gujarat, then I'll immediately mention, oh, I was born there. Okay, which place in Gujarat? So I will try to bring in
something common.
Yeah, some follow-up questions until the ice is broken, probably. I don't know.
Okay, so you focus on small things
or
and
if
try
it's a
to
professional setting, I will talk about my work and make them fall
impressed.
Impress them. No, but not like really trying it hard so that the other person can see it, but yeah, subtly putting it out.
Right. That's a fine approach, but normally, like I ask you this question because I personally feel this thing very often when I'm in a new situation. So then there is a guy and he's at some level. So it's fine, very strange. How should I approach? What should I say first? He's a like kind of a celebrity or something.
Okay. Sometimes it has also happened that I've met like famous people and I don't know about them. But I really want to talk to them.
Yeah.
So I just be honest, I think people understand that you might not know them.
Right.
So you think that you can't go to a celebrity and tell them that you haven't seen their work. I go there, I say it with a bit of hesitation, but you're like, I'm sorry, but can you tell me like more about, or I'll try to be more formal about it so that like, okay, so what do you do? So recently I met someone after a show and he was outside. So by his face, I could see, I've seen him on Instagram. And I could remember that, are you this person? I went ahead and asked, because I think you are. Just, I'm sorry if you're not. And he's like, yes, yes, yes. Like, oh, I love your videos. But then I didn't know he also runs a podcast or like whatever. I just saw his storytelling videos. So I asked him, so do you do this full time or what? So I tried to ask questions, to know him better. And I don't think you should shy away from asking questions which you think you should have known, because even as celebrities, they understand that they're still human beings and there will be human beings who don't know them.
And then I think they are genuinely looking for meaningful conversations.
Yeah.
Because
so
generally
rather
people
than
are
saying hi, big fan, or like, I don't ask irritating questions. I try to put myself in their shoes, basically. I think, this could be the basic point. Try to put yourself in the shoes and see what kind of conversations will irritate you.
Even treat like me human.
Yeah. If you were famous, let's say, and I come up to you and I say certain X things. If you get irritated, I will not ask those questions, because I know if I'll be there, I will be irritated with those questions. So I try to put myself in their shoes.
Right.
And then basically, thinking about both the perspectives.
So is it still true that if you go to your hometown and suppose some of your coaching ka student, they meet you and they are like, Didi, give me some tips about JEE, how many hours you study, or which
I will
book,
not
which
shy
book
away
to
by
follow.
telling them that I find these questions tough.
Okay.
But I understand that they're coming and you want to ask them. But
they're new, so they're important
but I will
for
take
them.
my time to explain them that what kind of questions they should be asking, and this is what I can help them.
Right.
Some people, I think, since nobody has time, if they're in a rush, they'll just say some random thing and move on. But I'm like, if I want to pass an information, I want to pass it the right way. Otherwise, I won't.
Right.
I don't want to give you half-baked information, basically. So if someone asks me that what books did I use, or like how many hours did you study, if I'm in a hurry, I'll say that, oh, this question is very subjective, let's take this later.
Oh, right.
I will not want to spoil that person's, because that would be me being a hypocrite, right? I say these questions are baseless and I ultimately answer the same questions.
Yeah.
I don't do that. So I do not believe in sugarcoating. That is something which I think makes me different. A lot of people do. Okay, fine, no offense, but I can't do it. It's just not my thing.
That's very true. Even what happened is that whenever I post a video as a podcast now, there are students who mention strategies about JEE. So my take is that there are people who are specifically creating content about JEE. I'm not that guy who is, because I'm like done with this thing. So I'm like, I want to grow it on another level. I'm not restricted towards JEE. I want to make it at some another level. So I come out of this that old mindset. So you should ask this question to somebody who is making videos towards JEE and towards your career. I'm gonna make videos about college life, about students who are who willing to learn, but not about JEE. So if you are following me for the sake of JEE, I'm the wrong person. But if you still want knowledge, follow me. So that's my take about my content type.
Which is perfectly fair. I received recently my Instagram shot up because of the graduation reel. So a lot of JEE aspirants came on my account, and my DM is flooded with JEE queries right now. Like, I just keep scrolling in the queries and everything starts with hi Didi, I'm in class 11, tips. Like, can we talk? And then, can you please reply to our DMs? I'm like, first of all, how do I choose whom to reply? Because I can't reply to them all. And if I'm replying to one, that's unfair for the other. So, plus, I go on Instagram live and I have come here for a completely different context, and then start asking me JEE doubts. I say them, I'm sorry, but this is not the place right now, and I'm not in the state to answer this, but let's take this later. And when they say things about package, so I tell them, see, if you want the sugar-coated stuff, very detailed and statistics, etc., there are hundreds of videos online. You can go there and you can search for them. I personally do not make such kind of content. I don't mind talking about this area, but I would talk it in a different way. But if you want these type of answers, please just go there.
I think people has this assumption, like if they heard about a IIT guy now, they have this assumption that ये बंदा perfect होगा JEE के tips में. But sometimes he or she is not, because उसका domain कुछ और भी हो सकता है. As I said,
or just that person just does not have the bandwidth, or is not interested.
Who is not interested. Even वो उस चीज से बाहर आ चुका है. He's looking to something else.
One day I just accepted a guy on my Instagram live. because I was accepting people, right? And that person said, "आप मेरे को personally mentor कर दो." I'm like, I am sorry, but I do not have the time. He was like, "I will pay you." I was like, "Money is not the concern, bro. Even if you give me lakhs and crores right now, no, I cannot. Like, do you understand? Even if I want to, and even if you give me crores, time है ही नहीं, कहाँ से लाऊं?"
Right.
He was like, "अच्छा, आप टाइम मैनेजमेंट नहीं सीख सकते क्या?" मतलब like, bro, do you get people have things to do in life? But I also cannot be offensive on the live, like, you know, what kind of bullshit are you talking about? So I wanted to be polite.
Right.
And I'm like, this guy is not understanding me. This guy set this thing on loop for 30 minutes that day. And I was like, please leave this live. I do not have the time. But yeah, people just don't understand.
मतलब आई थिंक उनको ये देखना चाहिए ना कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ वैल्यू ही और शी इज प्रोवाइडिंग. अगर वो आईटीएन है बट वो किसी और डोमेन पे वीडियोस बना रहा है, दैट मींस ही इज मोर पैशनेट अबाउट दैट थिंग. सो वो बंदा उस चीज में ज्यादा वैल्यू देने की कोशिश कर रहा है.
You ask question which is fine because you're used to it, but if the person is saying something, just respect it. Don't force it. So I don't say that I will not make J videos, but I don't like these hooky titles like strategy 10 minutes. ये मैप वाले वीडियोस मेरे से नहीं बनते. I want to talk about my Jee journey because I think that there's a lot of inspirational part there and people could benefit. But I want to bring it in a different perspective. So that will take time, and currently I'm overwhelmed with a lot of things and graduating. So I have plans for that. I will do that, but I will do it in a separate way.
Even I think if you talk about Jee journey ना, मतलब अगर Jee के लिए learnings, if somebody asking, I think कुछ ही points होते हैं which are the main highlights. बाकी सब same ही होता है. मतलब books you can.
So more than strategies, I will talk about my journey, so that if someone is facing something similar, they could relate to it and somehow take a learning out of it.
Like mindset wise.
Yeah, that this is how I approached. Basically, it's not about what you should do. Basically, it's like this is the syllabus you should study. That's one part. But then, more than the syllabus, it's also how your mindset revolves in the entire J time, how your composure is, how you feel about it. There's a lot of mental thing also. Your emotions, and how do you deal with all of this.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. That if I face setbacks, how did I approach it? Or what broke me down? And I might not even give a solution, but I will just share my experience so that someone out there does not feel that, you know, we are the only ones, because we think that we are the only ones going through that when we are going through it. But if they see someone's story, then they'll feel, okay, maybe this is normal.
Right.
So I believe that I am here to just share my perspective and experiences. You want to take that or not, it's your call. I don't want to come and preach here that these are the 25 strategies you must follow.
But generally people use that hooky title. You know?
It's I wouldn't say that's wrong, because that is how it also works. See, it's a cycle. It's not just that we YouTubers are at fault.
Right.
The audience demands for such questions also. And then when we give answers, those questions get validated. And hence they ask for them again.
Yeah.
And it's a cycle. Like one thing leads to the other, and then it just loops back. Exactly. It's like anda pehle aaya ke murgi pehle aayi.
Yeah, constant debate. It's never gonna solve it.
Yeah, so it's not like who asked this question first or who answered this question first.
And even I think now, if you answer them now, they're not satisfied. And personally, I think they should not be. Because यार तुम कैसे हो सकते हो satisfied, क्योंकि हर बंदा अपनी जर्नी पे आ रहा है. And what might work for me, that might not work for you. Right? आपने एक अलग study, maybe you study for 8 hours. I study for 10 hours. अलग है हमारा. And you can't relate because you have a different strategy to follow. Maybe you prioritize one subject a day. I do 3 or 2 subjects a day. So I think you should find your sweet spot, but you can just have other people's perspective and try to make your own.
अब ये है ना कि यार देखो, अगर कोई strategy वाला वीडियो बना रहा है और वो ये सब explain करने लग जाए कि ये ऐसा है, तुमको ऐसा लेना चाहिए, basically also telling the viewer how they should be watching that video, that will just make the video बहुत long. And their effort will also increase, and I don't think everyone is capable of even wording it out correctly and putting that thing into words which they are feeling. And then there's audience span also.
Right.
So it's like it's like it's a very complex problem. It's not just like I can pick out one reason and ये fix करोगे तो ये हो जाएगा.
So Prakriti, जैसा कि आपने बताया था, you have done 2 internships in 4th year, right? At the same time. So how's the experience and how you cracked both of them together, or what are the changes and how you did that?
Okay, now that I've left the company, I don't think my managers would mind. But yeah,
Okay.
one did not know
Oh.
about the other. They didn't know. So it's like, I was trying to find a lot of internships at that point. I was apping because I didn't feel that my placement resume was satisfactory. I was aiming for a higher. No, so I wanted no, not quant roles, but I was aiming for consulting, etc. Basically in competitive fields. So I wanted my resume to look really good, and because they want brand names on it, so I was looking for brand name internships.
Okay.
At that point, so I was constantly looking. I got an offer from Godrej, and but there was a lot of things going in my family also, so I was not able to put full attention to it. And then there was this Unacademy offer, which I actually went to Bangalore. I didn't have an offer first. I went to Bangalore first. Godrej, if मैंने accept किया होता तो वो Bangalore में ही होता. But I first went to Unacademy, and I directly went to their office and then finalized and negotiated the internship deal. Okay. And then I could never reply back to Godrej because there were a lot of things happening in my family. I was just not in my state. So with that only it was very tough. And then there was New City. But while I was doing all of this, I also got a call from Mahindra. Okay. Which I didn't even remember when I replied. Till date, I don't remember through which channel did I, apply. I got a call from HR that I applied. But I was applying through so many channels that I forgot कि ये apply कहाँ से किया. Maybe apping के through ही किया. Yeah, किया कहीं से तो मैंने ही किया था. That is why they have my details. Obviously. But he called me and I was like, okay, what's the role? Can you explain it to me and stuff like that. I was like, okay. And I got shortlisted there also. But their procedure took time. By the time मेरा Unacademy का काफी portion हो चुका था. Right. So I started Unacademy in July. What's the role in Unacademy? So I had to basically, build it. Basically, they had work, but I was like, it was a very negotiation that this is the kind of work I want for my resume. This is the kind of work I need. And then we came up with something. So you can, what I ultimately termed it as was project management basically. Okay. Basically, there was an entire project of theirs which I was leading end to end. It had budget planning, travel, and since it was around content, so it has some content parts also. So everything was mixed in that. So that is why I took it. कि मेरा content part भी हो जाएगा. I was actually working with Tarun Naik. Sorry? Tarun Speaks guy. Oh, yeah. So I was actually working in his team. So I got to be around famous YouTubers also and see how things work in like a high production setting. Like how do these guys create YouTube videos in a commercial setting? He's crazy, yeah. Literally, he's crazy. Yeah. I'm a big fan of his editing, by the way. Yeah, I'm a fan of his work, but not of the guy, but we'll not talk about it. Let's share this video with Tarun, right? No, I don't want to defame anyone. Yeah. Just like my personal experiences were not that good. Yeah. So this happened basically. An academy thing happened, and by that time, Mahindra's joining came. So I requested them for a remote work. And जितने में 1-2 हफ्ते वहाँ का चालू हुआ, Unacademy का offline work खत्म हो गया, and I shifted to Mumbai for my semester. Okay. And my semester started, and then I convinced my manager to have a hybrid. So my office was near campus only. It was in Jogeshwari, and I went there like twice or thrice when it was really needed. Otherwise, I worked online. And इतने में Unacademy का online part चालू हो गया था, तो वो chill हो गया. और इसका intensify हुआ, and within that time Unacademy end हो गया, but this was going on. But by this time, my placement semester was also going on. So placement things were going on and courses were going on. Right. So धीरे-धीरे basically वही था, एक deadline से दूसरी deadline meet हो रही थी. Right. And I was just working cut to cut on an autopilot mode. I don't know how it survived, but I was really packed. There was just timeline ऐसा था ना, मतलब you started with Unacademy, right? It ended and your vacation ended. Yeah. And when you did not end. My vacation ended. I shifted to Mumbai. Some part of Unacademy I did online. Okay. I had to come back to campus. This is the 4th year. Yeah. End of 4th year. End of 4th year. So my 5th year started. Okay, 5th year started, and you are working with Unacademy, but their work is online, and you started with Mahindra. Yeah, and then इतने में Unacademy ended. Okay. और फिर Mahindra continue हो रहा है, which is hybrid. Okay. इतने में मेरा placement process started, and my courses are also going on. Shit. And then I need to find my DDP guide also. And then there's stuff happening in family. So my placement semester was really brutal. So honestly, someone else would have had it a little bit easier, but apart from just 2 internships, I had other things running which just made it very cut to cut. I was just like barely surviving. It's like making ends meet at that point. But it was like job chahiye yaar. So the market was really bad. So I had to be the best to secure a job.
So I think कि placement भी बहुत down थे last.
That is why we were more concerned, because it's like you really have to give your best, because the competition became immense because the supply reduced.
So how, like, where you got your placement अभी है?
So
or what role?
ठीक है, मतलब अभी तो वैसे I'm joining only. I'm actually trying not to reveal it until I join, because
okay, it's fine. मतलब ये बाद में पता चलेगा.
I can tell I'll be working in the business growth area.
Okay.
So I'll not be doing engineering. I'll be working in non-core.
Package बता दो.
That also I don't want to.
अच्छा base बता दो यार.
अरे ठीक है, anything related to that I'm not answering. I'm not even answering it to my audience. So,
okay, fine.
Until I really settle into that, I don't want to comment on all of that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next question. So Prakriti, can you share your experience with content creation and how your content creation journey started?
How it started is basically I always had this idea that I wanted to do something. I mean, I was fascinated with how, like, creative things. So there was no particular specific thing that I knew I have to do this. So when I came in my first year, I was like, maybe I'll also make vlogs, and then but I was not allowed to put my face on the internet, right? So I couldn't do it. My parents would have never supported it. And then
so you got this idea when you were in your 12th standard?
Maybe, I don't know. There was just not a particular time I got it, but I had this feeling that I'll do something. I think around Josa I saw some people vlogging and like doing something cinematic or something like that. So I was fascinated by it, and I was like, maybe I'll do it too. And I love photography in general. So that is how that seed developed. So in my third year, I was like, so I always wanted to have a voice of my own basically and build a community. Right. And I was basically trying to find different ways to build a community. So first year I was like, I'll do this. Third year, then COVID came. It became normal to put on masks. I was like, nice. Now I can put on a mask and record videos. My face will not be on the internet, so my parents won't have a problem, and I can still create content, and people won't feel weird because it's the new normal. I tried doing it to a certain extent. I had some photographers from the institute on board, and we discussed ideas, and this is what we'll do. But it eventually did not materialize. I got busy, they got busy.
Okay.
Then to a point till my 5th year came, I had so much inside that I wanted a venting space. More like, I don't know, I just knew that there are so many things that I want to tell this world. So that is where my, pursuit of let's build a community. But I didn't want those videos to be the first videos, because I knew that this thing I feel is gold, and I don't want it to get wasted. I want to first build a community and then make it hit the right audience. I feel there's no point putting in so much effort if no one's going to watch it. So I started figuring out what can I do, and then I had my coaching teacher come to the institute because I was really sick. I had been sick since the entire semester, so he came and I just told him that, I've been meaning to do something around this, but I'm not getting the channel name or something like this. You have half an hour right now. Come up with a channel name. You're not anyway going to get famous suddenly. So you can change it if you want to, but right now, within half an hour, come up with a channel name, create the channel today itself. He made me create a YouTube channel, and I was a fan of these video podcasts also, because I love talking. What I saw was, like, I talk to people in general, and every time, most of the times basically, I feel that this could have been a podcast. And usually my friends do not listen because I talk a lot. How much will someone listen? But I said, I have more than that to speak. So where can I speak and no one would feel burdened?
Here, right? I want to mention when we met for the first time now, the type of conversation we had. At the end she said the same thing, that, and I also mentioned the same thing, that I wish कि मैंने इसको record किया होता. That this can be a good podcast. And that was our first meet, right? So like there is something in her, so that basically separates her as other people. So she is like a podcast wala. Well, she can't be host, right? She can never be host. She can only be the guest.
But
right?
I wanted all of that on my channel. So I was like, I want someone to talk with.
Okay.
And have it on my channel, because I am giving you the content.
But you can never be a guest, right? You can always, you can never be a host.
It's basically like there's no guest host. Again, something unconventional. It's not like there's a guest and a host. It's like two people talking.
Okay.
No one's a host, no one's a guest. Like we are just talking and people can watch because this conversation is worth watching, is what I feel.
So that you basically mean कि a group of highly intellectual, stupid people
Yes.
sit together.
Yeah. Basically, I wanted someone smart who can drive the conversation because I have things to say, but you need to be able to match that frequency.
Right.
And also someone, you know, if you want things to work out on social media, you want someone smart, you want someone intellectual. So they were like, I might sound very picky right now, but I wanted to make it the right thing and I tried. That was the initial idea of Prakriti Unfiltered, that I want to say things raw. But still now I've not been able to get to that, but I'm slowly getting to that. Within this journey, a lot of things happened. I ended up writing something, I ended up performing, I ended up loving it, and I started doing that also. But all of that which is happening now was never planned. It happened in the process, which is when I learned, I want to let life surprise me. I don't want to really fix what I want. Basically, if I'm creating content, I'm not making it very rigid. I'm letting it flow. For now, because it's not like मेरा भी business है इसमें से या मैंने change किया या switch किया तो बहुत बड़ा impact आने वाला. So इतना अगर कोई risk नहीं हो रहा, so why not let it flow? And things have surprised me the last year. So maybe there are more surprises ahead. But then I'm also keeping a sanity check that let's not forget what I initially wanted it for, and I'm trying to bridge all of that.
Okay. अच्छा ये बताओ मतलब is there any one thing which you mentioned कि मेरे अंदर ये चीज़ थी that's why I started content creation? Because if I talk about podcasting, why I started, because I see कि there are a lot of students जो कि college में हैं and they want guidance और उनको वो relate नहीं कर पाते with people who have done so much because वो कुछ अलग standard पे set करते हैं. But people like us जो college में हैं, you are also making things work out. Even other people जो college में हैं, they are working on different stuff, maybe on startup, on content creation. They are very relatable मतलब for other people. मतलब एक फर्स्ट ईयर का बंदा रिलेट कर सकता है 4 ईयर के बंदे से. So that's the I think gap I find it out and I think I'm trying to fill it out for the people कि उससे कुछ learning दे सके. So what inspired you?
My idea was not like some creators like content banana because it's booming.
Yeah.
I don't have that mindset. I don't want to create content because it's booming. That obviously helps, but give you the second day motivation. But I genuinely feel there's so much inside which can be beneficial. Yeah. I just want it out. And I want it out on a good platform. I think I'm saying this publicly for the first time because when I hear famous people talk, because people usually call you when you are famous on podcasts. And the things they talk about, I think I can give you such content. It's just that I'm not famous, you're not calling me, but once you call me, this podcast is going to be interesting. That is my gut feeling.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, ditch. I'm going to create my own thing.
Personal brand.
Yeah, so I just want to do a personal branding. That is what I'm up for because I think, I don't know, I'm being a narcissist right now or what. But I feel, I deserve to be somewhere and my stories deserve to be heard. And within all of this process, I have certain things which I feel could be very good short films. I also love because I've not really done it, but I also want to try out acting. So anyone watching who is hiring or casting, these are my side profiles. But the point is there's so many things that I want to do. So some stories I feel like, when I get my ideas, I think a lot of things which you create, an artist creates, half of the thing is already done in the head. The picture is already made, at least for me.
Yeah.
So when I think about certain stories, they come up as a voiceover. When I think of certain stories, they come up as a short film in my head, which is very, distorted because it's not out on paper yet. So it takes a lot of time to put it out on paper and not have this image distorted. But that subtle, distorted idea which comes, some comes as a short film. So sometimes I want to make a short film, not because I want to make short film on anything. Like filmmakers just make films.
Right.
I don't want to make films for the sake of films because I think this story will be best portrayed through a film. So all of these creative things I think are just forms of expression for me. The main idea is just to express and tell to the world that such stories exist, and either there is someone who can relate to this or someone who's never seen all of this can find a different perspective in life. Like this is also something which happens and just make this community. I don't know. I just wanted to express and have myself heard.
Okay, so एक चीज बताओ जो community building you mentioned, what kind of community you are targeting?
Community.
मतलब what kind of community?
I don't think there's a specific age group because what the kind of stories I want to tell mostly can be of interest to almost everybody.
Okay.
Community is just a base. Now, someone might call it followers, but it's ultimately a community only, right? People who want to listen to you and people who connect to you. So ultimately, it's a community. So I don't call that like followers. Like I just say it's a community which will want to listen to me,
Right.
sort of thing. So once my reach is that much that I can reach to these many people, so slowly I want all of the stories I have to reach those many people because I have seen what kind of content people watch. And I have a belief that I have something similar. So this might work out. Again, I'm testing it out. If it does not work out, it's fine. I at least gave it my best try. But till now, touch wood, it's working fine.
ये बताओ, like personal branding you mentioned, right? And I understand personal branding का there's a lot of benefits. But what kind of personal branding? Because do you have any ideas in mind कि किस चीज़ को target करके और personal branding? मतलब there are people who do personal branding for fame, for money, or for recognition. So,
Okay, I just want to be heard.
Okay. Make your voice.
Yeah, I just want to have my voice, my opinions to be heard. That's
Right.
it.
Okay.
Not go unnoticed, basically.
Like kind of an impact.
Yeah. There's
That's-
an impact, but the feeling which I am impact is for others.
Hmm.
But for me, the thing which I am chasing is I just want to be heard by people.
So it's very well to say if you are building a community. So
Yeah.
their community is gonna be the mindset of people, formed by the mindset of people who are very like to you.
Yeah.
Like mindset by
Or they want
perspective
to
wise.
listen to people like me.
Yeah, right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
अच्छा ये बताओ, you mentioned stories and मेरे को personally when I see your stories, मतलब I have seen your shorts, I personally find a story आपके shorts में. There's a story and you narrate a whole story and mention the clips in that way and it feels so good. मतलब personally it like so good. It like I'm living this moment. Okay.
Okay.
I when I see your videos na shorts where
Yeah.
you're signing off and
Yeah.
things, it feels like my college life has ended. I'm like feeling like कि भाई ये कैसा nostalgia हो रहा है. तो इसके बारे में बताओ how you do such storytelling.
I don't know how do I do this, but it's good to hear that it's hitting because what I've heard is good storytellers make you feel things.
Yeah.
And you are telling this to me for the first time, so it feels nice first of all that it's hitting because what happens is when I create stories, I've probably seen it in every stage in 100 different forms with distorted audio, with not distorted audio. You are basically editing it, so I have seen it in 100 different forms. When it comes as a final output, I can't feel my stories, and that is something which I hate as an artist because I can never see it as an audience because I made it. So I know everything about it. Nothing is going to surprise me.
Yeah.
For once, I want to see my art through an audience's lens. So when you compliment this,
A new
and then I
perspective.
get to know, this is hitting. Because otherwise I would have no idea. I usually feel like my stories are a piece of shit.
No, I think you should check your comment section then.
Yeah, that is what keeps me moving. Because
Yeah.
whenever I upload, I'm like, this is some piece of shit, but I'm putting it, and then people like it. And sometimes people like the thing which I hated the most. I'm like, what?
Is it really happening?
Yeah. Okay, fine. Then go ahead. ठीक है.
Right. अच्छा ये बताओ how open mic and stand up started.
Oh, so that is basically, since I said I wanted to create content on Instagram and have a community. Now the thing is, I could see that when I put up reels, it's reaching to audience.
Yeah.
Like if I initially had like 20-70 followers, but it was still going till at least 1,000. It was like engagement तो अच्छा आ रहा है, but followers नहीं आ रहे. Like reel पे views आ रहे हैं, but followers नहीं आ रहे. So what is stopping? Again, thinking what people are thinking, right? So I think अगर मैं किसी को follow करना चाहती तो मैं क्या देखती? Either I'll follow them out of FOMO.
Yeah.
कि इतना बड़ा number है, उनका content अच्छा लगा, I should be following this person. Or there is something really breathtaking over there. तो उसके लिए तो आने में मेरे को time लगेगा. Or there is some authenticity to the page. तो I was like, देखो ना मेरे पास followers हैं and I'm still growing and learning. तो सब बिल्कुल ही बाप content नहीं आने वाला है. What I can do is bring authenticity to the page. So coincidentally, I ended up writing my first poetry. And I knew about open mics because one of my friends had taken to me open mic a year ago. That was when I got introduced to the concept.
Acha, when it started, which year? Like in which year of college? When started?
Last year, this year only, September around.
No, but you started stand-up before that, right?
No, I did my first performance last semester, like my 5.1.
Okay.
After I came from Bangalore
Okay.
of my internship. Around September, I did my first performance ever.
Okay. Acha, that's why the Inside Ka post got it.
Inside the post.
Yeah, I got to know about you through that Inside Ka post.
Yeah. So I was not doing it. It's not even been a year till my first performance. So like September, I did my first performance.
Okay.
This is what May right now.
So how it happened?
Yeah, that happened because then I knew Habitat is doing open mics and Habitat में जाने के लिए I was like क्या लगता है तो तुमको उनके comment पे बहुत शिद्दत से yes post करना होता है.
Okay.
So I started doing it and I got a slot. I got lucky. So I just went to perform.
अच्छा, do you mention your story वहाँ पे? तुम आपने लिखा था, बताया था कि this is my story, I want to perform this.
No, Habitat does this random thing. So usually open mics have this ticket thing. You buy a ticket, you go perform.
Yeah.
That's it. You get a slot.
Yeah.
Habitat has this thing. वो post करेंगे कि random सा meme, उसके ऊपर yes comment करो. They'll randomly select people and tell you कि confirm the spot within these hours. If you confirm, you get to perform. That's it. कोई shortlisting नहीं होता. So मेरा हो गया. I was like great. I only went to perform to get an H logo in the video. And put that video on my social media. And now when people come to my page, they will think I'm a very big person. Because this is how psychology plays.
Yeah.
People who are not in this circle feel that famous people go to Habitat.
Exactly. Even I was thinking the same.
Yeah. Right. So I played with psychology there. And that was my only motive. But I enjoyed the process. So I started doing it again and again and again and again, and now here I am. It's just yeah.
So अभी ये तो ठीक है, but after that अभी का मतलब in last 1 month, what is happening in like in storytelling and in
for
startup?
me, I have actually put it down on a slowdown because graduation के बहुत सारे requirements and it's getting very hectic for me. Plus it's my last semester. So I'm not performing. Also, there are a lot of things जो मेरा backlog जा रहा था for Instagram. Basically, when you see, I have my academics to look at and 100 different things. Then I have time to find time to write something. I had to sit very isolatedly. And that's the worst part about being an artist. People be like, oh, you made us feel things. Imagine it was not even your story and you felt those things. I have to sit with my stories again and again and go through every emotion. Let it be pain, let it be happiness, go through everything and then articulate it and write it. It's a torturing process. So sometimes you just are not in the state to let yourself be so vulnerable again. So finding that space to write and then you have to go perform, that is another, that also demands time. And then putting that up on social media and editing it, it's separate time. I can't do that all at once. So there comes a time when my performances are at peak. There comes a time when my Instagram reels are at peak. And there comes a time when my academics are at peak. So yes. So I wanted to write more new content. Isliye I took a break from performing. And once I feel I'm back. But I don't think Mumbai में इतना हो रहा है.
Bangalore में होता है.
Because Mumbai में इतना as in मतलब ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं बचा मेरे पास. So Bangalore में जाके I'll continue. नहीं होगा तो खुद के open mics रख लेंगे. I have things in mind.
अच्छा ये बताओ, मतलब I think you're the right person to ask this question. How to be creative like you? मतलब how you get the thought of creativity and piece of creative thing?
It just runs in my veins, I guess. Because this started because last year I could not sleep for days. Every night there used to be hundreds of ideas flooding in my brain. I wasn't even an artist back then. There was just things which were like, oh, this is there, इसको ऐसे कर सकते. There are too many of it, so I started writing them to calm my brain down so that I can sleep. But what eventually happened is every 15 minutes I was waking up and writing, writing, sleeping, waking up, writing, sleeping. So I finally needed an outlet for it so that this can flush out. Like I can't hold all of this here. So I don't know how to be like this. It just comes. I don't know. It just comes. And since I've been doing this, and exposing myself to these storytelling shows, etc.
Yeah.
So that is how your database gets enriched. Okay, this is something you can do. This is something you can do, because there were so many different styles and art forms which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Now that I'm exposed to it, I feel, oh, this is also something which can be done. Like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
I might even have had that idea, but didn't know that this is a thing, so never paid heed to it. So exposing yourself to the art form is also a thing. Like, you also have to see others' work.
When you're starting open mics or stand up, what problems you faced, like issue of confidence or anything else?
So usually, तो वही luckily through all of this college thing, वो stage fear तो चला गया था.
Right.
But still, I remember when it was my first performance, I was shivering. Like, my legs were shaking. People could not see it, but they were shaking. And the moment I used to come off stage, I used to have this drain. Like, I could feel that drain in me. It happened for like 2-3 performances. Now it does not happen. But still, if it's like a very vulnerable piece or something which I'm performing for the first time, I do get those jitters of anxiety. Like, okay, how is it going to be? But it's just, I think, now that I've been there more often, so it just dies down. You get used to it and just calm yourself, calm your nerves. But apart from that, it wasn't tough because I don't mind being in front of people. A lot of people feel that ये किसी को बताए कैसे, but my motivation was already that I want to tell these things. But still, when it comes to very sensitive topics, even though I want to tell and I don't mind talking, there are places where I don't know, it just does not happen. Like, I thought it would be easy to say because I can say, but when it comes to actually saying it, it does not happen. I'm trying to process that.
Okay. Achha, do you believe in that thing that achievements, like your achievements, make you more confident? Matlab, why I'm asking you this is that I was a very shy guy. School mein I never go on stage, and even I didn't go on stage abhi bhi. But what happened a few months back when I was in ESL, I went to Hyderabad for that event, Summit Chapters. So there I manage an event like competition. There are a lot of people whom I was managing, and that time I find it out that I'm not feeling that like my confidence was not that down. I'm feeling confident because the kind of respect I was getting and the kind of comfort I'm getting by other people, that they are like aspiring to be at my place. So that thing.
Oh, audience does bring energy.
Yeah, so they bring energy in me. So I don't feel like hesitant.
It can happen the opposite way also. So I remember I was performing in my MEC traditional day. But the point is, those people have not come to watch performances. Those people have come to dress up in traditional, do stupid stuff with their batchmates and click photos.
Yeah.
So when I went on stage, 70% of the audience was busy in clicking photographs.
Right.
And it was like I was in OIT, so there was like a huge distance also. The audience starts from here. This is just empty. So that connect was also lost. That is one moment where I didn't feel like performing.
When this happened? Last year?
This semester only.
Oh, this semester.
So I went on stage. I had pieces ready. But since the reaction was just so dull, and I was like, these people don't deserve to listen.
Yeah.
I had my ego there. That, no point performing here. But one of my friend gave me an advice, never ever let yourself down on a stage.
Yeah.
Do not give shit about whether that audience wants to listen or not. You came here because you wanted to perform and you are going to do the entire piece. Even if no one is listening. Don't disrespect the stage. And that thing stayed with me. So now I try not to care about whether people are listening or not. I will do my thing best because yes, I came to perform. But at that point, I was like, people please saying, nahi sunna, okay. I stepped down on stage. That was one moment when I stepped down on stage. And
when this happened?
This semester only, traditional day, no? So, but yeah, that friend told me to not do that ever again.
I think some places are not worthy to listen.
That is what I felt. But he was like, once you're on stage, you're not leaving your piece halfway.
Right. And maybe I think that's not neither your fault, neither them. Because
it's not fault, but it's like,
the environment was
fault,
changing.
but then what do I choose to do about it? Do I still continue with my piece or do I leave the stage?
Yeah, that's what matters.
You should never leave the stage.
Right.
If you have planned a set, you do the entire set.
Even if the place is not worthy for you.
Yeah, or if you feel that the audience is not responding.
Because they come for some other things, like they come for masti, but they don't want to get a bit.
But if you are here to perform, you will perform.
Yeah, right. You should not compromise with your own stuff for others, right?
Yeah.
So Prakriti, ये बताओ, what's your future plan with your content creation and the community building thing?
This might sound very idealistic, but currently I do have certain things. Maybe this is something I want as I know कि मेरे को podcast करना है. There are certain topics which I have still not touched particularly, and so many stories which I still haven't told. तो वो करना है. But if you're talking about whether I want to pursue it full time or not, or what do I want to do about it, I'm trying to be thoda risk free right now. Like I will be joining my job, we'll do this side by side, and the moment I feel it in my gut that maybe now I should switch, I will.
Right.
But currently I don't know. Like that I will only know when I see how this is shaping up. But if you ask whether I would be open to shifting to it full time, I think yes, I would be open to it. But I'm not sure yet.
So do you think, do you ever post blogs of your daily life?
Oh, so I can, but not my favorite thing to do.
Okay.
I tried this recently because मेरे page पे कुछ नहीं जा रहा था, तो I was like, okay, 30 days until I graduate.
Okay.
Last 30 days at IIT Bombay, and that I wanted to do because I want to see my content. Like 10 years later, I want to have a footage of what I was doing in my last days. पूरा college तो हुआ नहीं, but थोड़ा तो हो. One thing I will admit, मेरे को बहुत creepy लग रहा था, cringe लग रहा था, taking a camera in front of everyone walking in the department. हम attendance mark करने आए थे अभी, and I used to do this, and I used to get shy and used to do. तो footage अच्छा है नहीं, because ऐसे करता है, used to feel awkward that I'm walking in the corridor with a camera like this and people are walking. So वैसे kudos to people who vlog there.
Rushi, kudos to Rushi.
Rushi,
Bhai, Rushi kill कर देता है.
Get the courage to just walk confidently with the camera on and not giving a shit about what people might be thinking in the corridor. कि ये इंसान कैमरा लेके क्यों घूम रहा है?
Even we need to do the same, यार. I think they have the courage.
So I've done this, but I don't think I'm still very open. मेरे को अभी भी अजीब लगता है.
मतलब ये कॉन्फिडेंस से थोड़ा अलग है, ये अलग करेज वाली बात है.
This is like getting adjusted to people noticing.
I think initially they also feel the same by the time they develop this personality.
Yeah, so I might do it, but it's not. I don't think that's going to be my main thing ever.
Okay.
The better. I should not compare, but like I have, according to me, I have more priority things, art forms, which I can do. So why not?
So what type of content is coming in the upcoming future? Your plan?
Upcoming future.
Which you planned?
I want to surely do a lot of storytelling. I want to have some podcast-like setups. If not podcast initially, like just my setup where I just come and talk and put my opinions, because that is what Unplugged was for. Like I wanted my opinion raw, my experiences raw. That and the short film तो नहीं, but like microfilm types कुछ
shorts में.
हाँ, so you can call that microfilms, right? So वैसा कुछ. बाकी I hope to perform. अभी seriously इतना मैंने plan out नहीं किया, because currently मेरे दिमाग में यही चल रहा है कि अभी graduation करके बैंगलोर में जाके फ्लैट ढूंढ के पहले सेटल होना है.
Guys, अगर फ्लैट रूममेट चाहिए तो फ्लैटमेट चाहिए तो कांटेक्ट करो. If you are seeing from Bangalore, please contact.
फ्लैट दे दो.
ब्रोकर का नंबर ही नीचे डाल दो. So Prakriti, just tell me, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Okay, this feels like an interview now.
Now I'm getting.
Where do I see myself in 5 years, guys? I'm unhinged. I don't know what to do with my life. Just going with the flow, and I know that is not how life works.
Okay. But there is some aspiration, right? I want to be like. I'm
still a confused individual, disoriented, who's trying to figure out. I have things, but then I doubt that also every second, and I'm still figuring out whether I really want this. Maybe I see myself, okay, I'll be a content creator and I'll be doing this full time, but then I feel like, do I really? So I want my voice to be heard, but it's like, दोनों हाथ में लड्डू, but मुझे वो सब नहीं चाहिए, इतना सारा tension भी नहीं चाहिए. Like I also want my space, which is like दोनों हाथ में लड्डू again. So I'm like, चाहिए क्या ऐसे, मतलब अच्छा सा कमा के साइड में जॉब करके शांति से जिंदगी जीता है, क्यों तेरे को इतना मतलब. Because putting yourself vulnerably out there, it's like, you're opening yourself naked out there, right? Because you're literally putting out everything. So that does get overwhelming at times. So I'm still questioning it. If you asked me this question 1 year earlier, maybe I would have had something. But in the last 1 year, so much has transitioned. And I'm still in that transitioning phase that it's even tough for me to see like where I'm at in 5 years. I'm still figuring that question out.
Okay. Acha, so tell me, do you feel liberating when you produce content? Matlab-
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Okay. That's the typical thing every content creation like
I
creator
mean,
have.
yeah. So one day I was just cleaning my room and I made a video on that sometimes I feel overwhelmed and then I clean my room and when I put it out there I felt happy because I was sitting in my shithole, overwhelming, overthinking everything, and then something good came out of it. I'm like, wow, आज एक reel गया, अच्छा reel गया.
Exactly. You know, the same thing Rushi said me, that he felt very liberated, he felt very comfortable when
Yeah.
he post a reel. Like he have a target to post a reel.
Yeah.
So whenever he do that, now he
Yeah.
feel very comforting.
That gives you a sense of accomplishment, a
Yeah.
productivity thing, or something happened. It's like,
Yeah.
finishing a task to that end. So it's very similar to finishing a task. Just like a project deadline और वो submit कर दिया. Feels like you did something today,
बट वहाँ पे आई थिंक ये होता है ना कि जब प्रोजेक्ट डेडलाइन है सबमिटेड तो वहाँ पे कोई इंस्टेंट बोनस नहीं होता, मतलब इंस्टेंट रिकॉग्निशन नहीं होता. बट विद कंटेंट क्रिएशन व्हेन यू डू दैट थिंग यू इंस्टेंटली गेट पीपल्स फीडबैक, राइट? आई थिंक वो उसके लिए पीपल आर लाइक क्रिएटर्स आर इंसेंटिवाइज्ड.
Yeah, fair. But ऐसा होता है, देखो मेरा ऐसा होता है, फिर पुट कर देना मेरे को अच्छा लगता है because when I see myself, I tell that I can't see my video output as an audience, but I can still see thoda na, and when I see it finally there, I just be like, Prakriti क्या content बना रहा है यार. Like before people appreciate me, I appreciate myself.
Right.
Like if I love it, wow, क्या किया है? This was the best piece ever. Wow, how could you come up with this? Like before people saying this, I say this to myself. कि क्या लिखा है यार? Like we were talking right now after the interview, I was like, wow, क्या बोल दिया आज? So I reflect upon what I did, and before people appreciating me, I appreciate myself, and that feels liberating. कि wow.
अच्छा, okay, ये बताओ, like I know this, like there is so much skepticism among your peer group and your peer group and your friends about your content creation, but like, apart from that, what was your parents' reaction when you tell them about your content creation?
I never told them.
What?
Like when I started creating content, I was like, you know what, if my parents say that your face is on the internet, then through NSS everything, my pictures are already online. If someone really wants to do something with my pictures, it's already there.
Yeah, makes sense.
And if नहीं कर रहा तो फिर मैं content क्यों ना बनाऊं? तो मैंने बना दिया. And I had this thing, Indian parents, or like parents in general, everyone is usually skeptical about the risks. That is why they stop you. Not like that you're haters and they don't want you to grow and not follow your passion. So I was like, I will first grow this to a certain point. तो वो रिस्क का सवाल ही नहीं होएगा ना. And when your parents see you're famous ना, तो फिर सारे सवाल बंद हो जाते हैं. And first of all, my parents didn't want me to send to IIT Bombay.
Oh, because of distance.
घर के पास, हाँ दिल्ली है, बॉम्बे सेफ नहीं है, ये है वो है. I heard so many questions. Now they're happy.
Is Delhi safe? You should ask your parents.
Yeah, it was a whole. I tell them, do you listen? Did you listen yourself 5 years ago? Like हमको पता था, but फिर तेरे को बहुत दूर नहीं भेजना था. I'm like, wow. But जैसे मुझे नहीं समझ रहा था कि आप कैसे लॉजिक दे रहे हो. तो I was like, you know what? मेरे को उस समय पढ़ना ही नहीं, मैं content बनाऊंगी. I hid myself. I hid them from my WhatsApp statuses. मैंने सबसे हटा दिया था. मैंने पता ही नहीं चलने दिया. मैंने कुछ भी करके उनके YouTube सर्च में कभी अपना चैनल नहीं डाला, so that कहीं से भी उनकी फीड में मेरा वीडियो ना आए.
Okay.
And when I felt कि थोड़ा एस्टैब्लिश हो गया, so one day I was like, तो मेरी बहन को ना पता चले इसलिए मैंने अपनी मॉम को बता दिया था कि क्योंकि मेरी बहन इंस्टाग्राम यूज करती है और मेरा पब्लिक अकाउंट है, तो कभी ना कभी उसकी फीड पे आ सकता है, तो मैं आपको बता के रख रही हूँ. तो धीरे धीरे मम्मी को पता चला, then she didn't mind a lot, but my mom also used to be like कुछ करती है. She never saw my videos because I didn't want it to come in her feed, right? Yeah. So one day she called me and she watched my videos. And first of all, when someone watches my videos in front of me, it gets embarrassing. I'm like, what do I do? Like, don't, you can watch it, but like,
why in front of me?
Not in front of me. Like, I get uncomfortable when someone watches my content in front of me because I'm hearing my own audio and I'm like, okay.
It's not up to the mark.
Yeah, but my mom wanted to do that with me online on a meeting, and I was like, okay, you watch. I'm giving you the links. Please don't keep me on call. It's like live feedback aa jayega. But she loved it actually, and she felt so proud. And then she's like, oh my god, I didn't know that you were so good and so serious about this. And then she ended up giving me contacts that I actually knew such people who might be of help to them, but I never paid attention because. But now that you say you are interested in this field, so you might want to talk to them. My dad never really had an open conversation. Around my placements, I did say that if my placements don't work out, this is also something I want to do, and I want to have my own studio set up and stuff like that. There are also things which I plan with my dad. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it, but I do want to. So with that also, I had to talk to him, and there's a lot of capital involved, so I had to have that financial talk. So in that regards, we have talked, but I don't think he's seen my videos. And if he has, then I don't know. Recently, when I went home, there's a video of me talking to my dad on call in front of Varun Grover because Varun Grover made me talk to my dad on call.
Okay.
And that reel went to 1 million.
Oh.
So I was like, now there's a video of me talking to my dad, which 1 million people have watched, and my dad has never watched it.
That's
so
crazy.
Then I went to home and I was like, remember that call? This was that call, and see 1 million people have watched it, and he was
My
like,
God. How's your dad reaction?
Yeah, we just laughed it out. Okay. So I think that is the only video which I showed him to like, ye dekho. But I don't know. I haven't.
He never searched you on Sajakar.
I don't think he's just too busy.
Okay. Maybe if he doesn't, he never told you.
Probably. So yeah, I have never had that one-on-one talk. But when I call my dad, he's like, "Kuch khud ka kar." I'm like, "Already kar rahi hu." He's like, "Kya photography?" I'm like,
"Videography."
We spent like hours discussing capital and stuff and studio setup. So it's like he gaslighted what I said. And like, I told you. So I don't know if he remembers what I told, or I don't know. I think he's just very occupied currently. So I don't know. That's still a grey area for me.
Right.
We'll see that later.
Send this video to your father.
I put that on my status. He watches the status.
Okay. That means
every time. But I don't know if he opens it. I will never know.
You should send him this video particularly to your dad through WhatsApp. Dekho, ye to dekho.
Once I made a Happy New Year video which I put on the home group also, but there was no reaction to it. So
that's weird.
He's more active on Facebook Reels. He sends me Facebook Reels.
I don't have Facebook.
Yeah, he sends the Facebook links on group.
And you can't open it unless you have a Facebook account.
Publicly Reels hota hai na. I do have a Facebook account, but I don't use it.
I don't have. I don't know what's the need of Facebook in current genre.
So you are a junior. Let me give you some advice. Okay. Back in our time when we were freshers, Facebook was more popular. Messenger was more popular. So when these orientations used to happen, instead of Instagram, they used to make you make an Instagram account, a Facebook account, and go to their page and like the page.
Oh.
So that is why if you go see, there is an IIT Bombay Pixels Facebook group.
That means what's your age? I think I'm very older than me.
It's just a COVID gap, okay?
That gap lasted long.
But I was in that transition. So like a couple of years senior to me, they had messenger groups. They didn't have WhatsApp groups for PORs. Also, people used to make messenger groups for POR because it was like filtered. No, WhatsApp पे कितना spam होता था. But like it's more, तुम active रहोगे वहाँ पे, तुम काम की बात देख पाओगे, कुछ miss out नहीं होगा. So NSS members, seniors to me, they used to have messenger groups for discussing all of that. I can't imagine that, like people discussing where to meet and what to do on messenger groups. It's dead now. But until a few years ago, it was still alive. And hence I have a Facebook account.
Yeah, you are making me feel कि मैं कितना.
And there was an IIT Bombay confessions page, right?
Even on Facebook.
It was on Facebook.
Now it's on Insta. Oh.
And now someone recreated it again, and since Instagram is more popular, they created one Instagram. Okay. The OG confessions page was on Facebook.
Right.
And even people from different IITs used to follow that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yaar. I'm feeling like left behind. मेरे को पता ही नहीं था ये सब भी हो चुका है. Maybe the upcoming generation even not get the chance to get exposure of Instagram because the new social media platforms like Reddit and different platforms are booming abhi.
Now you are making me question my content.
But I think YouTube is never gonna get out of the game. You know, one very interesting fact, like YouTube has started as a dating app. Yeah.
What?
Yep. YouTube started as a dating app. But when the operators see that it's not working, the founders see that it's not working, then they pivoted towards like a free video platform thing.
fun.
Like, just think, if they don't get the idea of dating app, we are not getting anything from YouTube. Like, we are not able to make content on YouTube. So, किसी को तो dating का idea है and सबका फायदा हो.
Nice.
Okay. ये थोड़ा intellectual talk हो रहा है अभी तो.
Yeah, but
But
nice.
let's move towards next question. Like,
yes.
So Prakriti, I've seen that you make so much content around mental health. So why do you prioritize mental health so much in your content?
Oh, first of all, it's the like need of the hour kind of thing, and everybody's doing it. That's not the reason. The major reason is that I have been through it myself, and I've been through it myself the hard way.
Okay.
And I'm like, if my stories can help anyone, why not? You know, some people are not comfortable talking about their journey, which is absolutely fair. Like, it also takes me time to first process those feelings and only then come up with it publicly like that.
Yeah.
But I myself do not mind sharing about it. I don't think that's taboo for me. Or like, I don't mind people, me just expressing. So if I don't mind, and what do you need? One person who does not mind to tell those stories, so that other people who cannot tell but can at least listen to it and feel not alone and just feel related. Yeah, that's what I want to do. But for people who have not gone through it, because I have had friends who didn't go through it, who wanted to help me, but they were actually doing the opposite. And when you're going through that, all of this, so you don't have the bandwidth to tell that person what do you want them to behave as, and like all of that drama. So it's like, if I put this content out, those people will also watch this, and they might probably know what their friends are feeling but not able to say, and through here they can get to know what that person wants to say and maybe bridge that gap. So it's like breaking the ice between those people, because when you're yourself going through it, saying that is very tough.
Right.
So a third person breaking the ice, basically. And since it's very personal and I've been through it personally, I don't want others to go through it and help in any way I can.
Okay.
Because I know how painful it is. Yeah, that's the major thing.
I think any initiative by any people is like come into action because of his or her own experiences. I think you have suffered, so you're trying to help people.
And since I anyway said I wanted to tell my stories, and this is a part of my journey, so it comes out.
And it's good if it can help anybody get out of it. So. अच्छा, ये बताओ, how you make your videos so engaging?
Engaging, what do you find engaging about it?
मतलब, when you clicked it. When I clicked it.
Okay.
It's like I want to watch it till the end. Specifically about your shorts.
Okay.
I haven't seen your long form videos, but I have seen your shorts, primary shorts on Insta and on YouTube both. So how you make that engaging?
So firstly, I do a thought dump usually for anything. I just word vomit. But after that, I do try to think, because now people's attention span is so important. I wish it was not that way and we could just, express. But then I think, again, if I was scrolling through reels, what will make me stop? Will I want to watch that? I had a personal touch to it, basically. And also, what I've noticed is when I've talked to people, क्यों आ रहे views? अच्छी बात आ रही है, but I want to decode that, right? So a lot of people have given me this feedback because they are so raw and real. That is why people watch it. It might not be the best art piece, but it's something which hits the heart. And I think that rawness comes because most of the content I make is usually things I would say to myself.
Okay. Right.
And I wouldn't say rubbish to myself, I guess.
No, but do you follow any strategy particularly? Because while making content, you should be practical, right? You should be technical. That how can I hook the video, like make a hook in the
so yeah, वो सब है कि ठीक है, I try to keep hooky parts in the start. I see कि मतलब जो grabbing parts है वो start में हो. Once that attention is, I'll put like a slightly less grabby part. But as soon as I feel ये बहुत lengthy हो रहा है, I'll again put something to make the user stay for a little more, and then वो lower part होगा, and then I'll put ऐसा try करती. But I don't follow it very mechanically. ऐसे ही करना, and this is something I again personally hate, that there are so many tutorials on how to make your content engaging, what kind of content you should make to go viral. But are you realizing that in this system, you're basically again mechanizing the entire process?
Right.
Which means every content will almost have the same blueprint. Where's the originality then?
Makes sense.
It's like you are training sheep for Jay, right? Everybody has the same thing, and people lose their originality, and then they try to reconnect it in their coaching, like in their college or whatever. So if everybody follows the same thing, where is the space for creativity, and how is it my content then? I wanted to do something, but I can't because the algorithm wants me to do something else.
Right.
And then I stick to it. Then essentially just
मतलब you just try
working
to
as
be
a job,
original.
right? किसी ने मेरे को hire किया है और उसने मेरे को कुछ protocol दिया कि इसके according उसको काम दे, मैं उसको काम दे रही हूँ. It's not my work.
Yeah. So you prioritize originality over any other things.
Because again, that rebel in me, wherever I find like a rebel-like feeling, I just go crazy for it again, because that's like, I am just so tired of restrictions in general. Because as a girl, you come up with so many restrictions, and I've been so fed up with that during my childhood. So now, in any sphere of my life, if someone tries to curb my originality or what I feel, I go really sentimental about it. So I try to keep my pieces original, and sometimes I know that this is not according to the trend, but I will still put it because I want to keep reminding myself that this is ultimately my pitch. Those people chose to follow me. And this is me. This is not some, content minting machine or like that. You just come and you'll just keep getting something out of it, and I'll just keep delivering it to you. No. It was meant to be my expression, people to know me as a person, and if they want to know me as a person, I have to give myself only.
Right. Here I want to
and I can't be like मेरे experiences इस algorithm की वजह से होने चाहिए लाइफ में. वो अपने आप भी होते हैं यार. उसका कोई algorithm नहीं होता है. तो stories algorithm के हिसाब से नहीं बनती है.
I think originality works well. But here I want to make one comment about your videos. मतलब why I like your videos is that I find it very relatable.
Yeah.
मतलब the relatability thing that whenever you make, there is a story which relates to me.
Yeah.
तो I think ये एक factor वो है for me. That's a factor of watching your videos.
Yeah.
तो maybe वो भी एक hook है. Again, that is a complete hook for a complete whole video.
Yeah. So whenever I try to make the story, also I try to find relatable parts also. I add my touch.
Yeah.
But then I break it down. कौन सा मेरा personal है, but लोगों को फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. Because when you're telling stories, ना तुम story बता सकते, तू आके अपना incident बता देगा. Why would I want to listen to it?
Yeah.
So after word vomiting, I do editing in like ये नहीं. फिर अगर ये मेरा बहुत specific था, तो उसको थोड़ा generalize कर देते कि लोगों के में maybe ये नहीं हुआ होगा, but इसको हल्का सा मतलब रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग करके इतना जनरल कर दूंगी, तो फिर आगे ऐसे लोगों के में इस ब्रॉड चीज के स्पेसिफिक चीजें हुई होगी, तो वो फिर उसमें जाता है बाद में करेक्शन.
So अच्छा ये बताओ, like this is the question I have since the first day we met. ठीक है. Like that day when I said like everybody whom I know, everyone have a niche, right? Why not you have a niche?
See, the thing is, मैंने बोला ना, मेरे को मेरी ओरिजिनलिटी रखनी है, सब कुछ रखना है, और people make content because उनको बनाना है, right? So then they try to find the niche कि मैं ये अच्छा कर सकता हूँ या ये अच्छा कर सकता हूँ. मेरा वो मोटिव तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल है ही नहीं. मेरा मोटिव है कि मुझे मेरा खुद की पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग करनी है, एंड आई वांट पीपल टू नो मी एज अ पर्सन, एंड दैट अ पर्सन एज अ होल कैन डू दिस. एंड ये लाइफ एक्सपीरियंसेस, एंड यू नो एवरी लाइफ experience is interlinked with your different aspects. You can't just cut off yourself. Like this I realized recently कि मैं अपना JEE part बहुत side में रखती हूँ, but मैं थोड़ा उसको ले रही हूँ, because that is a mistake even I was making. That JEE, even though I gave and is not related to my content, but is still a very big part of what shaped me. I can't just cut it off like that. This is still one person. I can't cut into slices and give it to you. So if I want to talk about my life experiences, they have to come as a whole. And मेरे को मेरा बताना है. I want people to connect with me. तो मेरे को नहीं चाहिए कि वो मेरी story telling देखे. मेरे को नहीं चाहिए वो ये देखे. मैं चाहती हूँ वो मुझे जाने. I want to be heard, and for I want to be heard, like for me to be heard, I want to be the niche. And what's so wrong about it? Like, why does this thing has to be a niche? Why just can't a person be a niche and you follow me for who I am and my originality?
I think here it can be easy, like okay to say that your life is a niche.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think my life has so many stories and I'm building stories around it, and that is an entire niche.
Right.
And it is coming out through different forms.
Okay.
So I don't want you to be here just like you can be here for my storytelling, but what I am targeting is someone should come here and connect with me as a person,
Right.
not just one of my skills. You connect with me, and then you stay with me, and then you're interested in knowing how my life has been, or how does just like that basically. So it's like you associate yourself with the movie's character and you fall in love with the character, and then you want to know more and more about it, but not what the character was doing in the scene. Uska job kya tha.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I want to be that character. Let's say my life is an entire movie and this world is an entire movie, and in this are a lot of characters, and Prakriti is one character. I want you to get obsessed with this character and listen to that character.
Okay. Acha, Prakriti, now we are heading towards the end, so I know. Frankly speaking, I'm like enjoying a lot talking to you, but I know we have to end this somewhere.
I hope people do too.
Yeah, please tell if you are enjoying. Please tell in the comments, and what you liked, what you're not. Please tell. Please give your feedbacks. We improve upon your feedbacks, right? Acha, Prakriti, just tell give a guide, like as a guidance to people who are watching, like जो बंदे न्यू टू कॉलेज हैं, दे आर गेटिंग देयर लाइफ स्टार्टेड, अभी कॉलेज में कॉलेज लाइफ स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं या फिर जेई की जर्नी स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, लाइक जनरल एडवाइस फॉर देम हाउ टू डू, लाइक फॉर कॉलेज पीपल एंड फॉर
I think especially for college also a lot of seniors, everyone will again come with a lot of unsolicited advice. Sometimes you will only ask for it and they will give. Take advice as an advice. As I said, understand that you are an individual and ultimately you do you, bro. I mean, just don't be afraid to be yourself, and even if you feel no one in the crowd is doing this and you feel left out and sidelined and oh my god, am I doing something wrong, and no one does this, so why should I? But in your gut you really want to do it, just go do it. That will bring wonders, because that will set you apart, and that will be the thing you will most confidently talk about. Because at that point of time you took the onus of taking decisions for yourself, right? And not walking on someone else's path. When you walk on someone else's path and something goes wrong, it was never your decision, right? So you don't know the nuances of it, so you will not be very confident about it. But if you took the decision, and even if you fail terribly, inside you will know you did this and not blame someone else, right? So and in that way you will be able to take it more productively and not.
So basically explore your own identity by putting yourself in different situations. Right. That's all.
So I think this would work for everything, be it any sphere. So just don't be afraid to be yourself, is what I've been telling everyone. Like,
finish your,
because that is what has given me the confidence, honestly.
Basically finish your work of shit even if people are not liking it.
Do it because you like it.
So thanks, Prakriti. It was a nice talk and very insightful. And mostly it feels like a sister is giving guidance to his brother. So it's very insightful, and personally I very enjoyed a lot. Like I enjoyed a lot talking to you. And frankly, I want to talk to you some other day also, like a part 2 of this. But I know you are very busy with your work and you're gonna shift.
But I'll try.
Don't worry, I'll be busted in your Bangalore someday.
That's fine. Welcome. Abhi bus transitioning period is tough. Otherwise, you're most welcome. Come to Bangalore, you should pay a visit.
Okay then, guys. This is with the video, and you can also follow Prakriti. I'll put his social media links in the description. Please follow her
and follow him. Subscribe to his channel. For more such podcasts and videos.
Prakriti, because she's also coming up with podcasts, right? So you can just check out her YouTube, and sooner you'll get to get her podcast sooner, very soon.
Hopefully. Till then, I'm trying to keep Instagram active.
Follow her on Instagram. I'll mention the link in the description. And please guys, like, follow, subscribe, and help the algorithm to work.
And you've stayed till this part of the video. Love you guys for staying.
Because I was also not expecting. So if you resisted yourself to be till now, kudos to you guys. I don't know, you are just listening intellectual talk of 2 stupid people. Kudos to you. So with this message, not a message, with this जो भी advice थी ले लो. And I'm gonna end this video now, and please follow if you like to, and comment your best part. Bye.